I actually kick it off. Terrific. So it says that we are live. I'm just going to check in one other area to make sure that Facebook is telling everyone that we are here and that they need to be tuned in. Drop what they're doing and tune in.
Exactly.
Right? This is really the highlight of my day right now, for sure. So, as someone comes on, they'll be able to give us a thumbs up, let us know that they're tuned in with us.
And obviously, thanks again for this opportunity.
Yeah, of course.
Now, who else is tuning in with us there?
Yeah, so we have this live right now on Facebook and on YouTube. So I'm just waiting a few minutes so I can see a couple folks that are hopped on with us. It looks like Parker Brown from Carrabba's is already joined. So it means that people are hearing us and they're seeing us. Hello to Counselor Rich Seymour as well. Thank you so much for hopping on time today. Again, this is like 2 times in the last week and a half. Super proud of you. So I'll go ahead and get us kicked off because we have 2 terrific guests with us and I want to give an ample amount of time for us to be able to ask questions and comment and really engage with them. I am your host, Juliette Abdel, President and CEO of the Westminster Chamber of Commerce. And if this is your first time landing on our page, like our page, follow us so you can always get those updates and reminders that we're live and that you should be on here with us. We're also on a variety of platforms. In fact, today we're actually streamed on our YouTube page as well. We're on Instagram, on Twitter, and several others where we have different personalities. So interface with us on all of our social media pages as well. As you guys are aware, we are continuing all of our daily broadcasts, and our broadcasts have been shaped more so in the last couple of weeks on reopening and helping answer questions for our businesses that are reopening through our survey that we're conducting. So if you haven't already gone to the westminsterchamber.biz/COVID-19-updates page, our reopening survey is on there for you. We have volunteers that are amazing. They're calling on you guys to try and get those questions answered. And really the answers we're using to be able to guide the content and anything that we're doing as far as efforts and projects within the chamber to best serve you. So take the time to please answer the phone call, but also hop on if you're anxious and complete that survey on your own. We launched a few different programs and we highlighted that in our Chamber Updates broadcast this last Tuesday. But I want to emphasize that we'll be churning out a lot of information and we want to make sure that you're receiving that. So if you're not receiving our emails, DM us your email address and watch back on a lot of our videos. Those are saved for you at any point in time to be able to relearn or re-pick up any of the resources that we've shared. With that being said, and thank you, Peter, for saying that we all look good. With that being said, today's broadcast is especially exciting because we'd like to start weaving in this new concept. And in our COVID series, we've historically focused on all things COVID. We want to incorporate business with a beat. Now, it's titled Business with a Beat because it's featuring our small businesses and the people behind them, or the heartbeat behind them. So for short, it's BEAT, and that's why it's Business with a Beat. We'll be weaving in a variety of small businesses that we are highlighting, kind of, especially if they're family owned, but if they're small business run, and kind of their history, their story, and their why. So if you are a business and want to be featured, go ahead and DM us so we can look for your information, add you to the queue, and see where it makes sense to get you included in some sort of our programs that we have coming up. Hello to Ann Hogan, and again to Peter and several others that are hopped on with us. Now, today I am privileged to have a nice duo with us. They are from Denver Athletic, and they have been super supportive when I had some PPE needs. In fact, you've probably seen their information listed on our PPE supplier list that was displayed on our Facebook page. So here with us is Erica and Mick. I will mute myself and have them both take it over to share who they are and kind of their role with their company before we get started with our interview.
All right. Well, thank you all for joining and being here. We really appreciate the opportunity, and we know everyone's really ready to get back out there, and we'd love to do anything we can to help with that. As Juliette mentioned, I'm Erica. I handle marketing and social media for Denver Athletic. So anything as far as outreach or anything that we're doing in the community is typically what I'm handling, as well as obviously any marketing efforts, helping our sales team to reach out to as many people as possible.
Hi, I'm Mick Montgomery. I'm the owner and president and founder of Denver Athletic. It's great to have this opportunity to hopefully tell a little bit about our story and where we've come from and how we're doing and how we're coping with this situation and trying to do everything we can to get through it. I started the company back in 1985, which this is our 35th anniversary. Not the greatest of anniversaries, but that's what it's an anniversary. And I've had this company for many years and have built this as somewhat of a little monster. But our primary business, we are a team sports company. And we deal about 80% of our businesses with schools, youth leagues, booster clubs. We also do a fair amount of corporate business. So plus we do our own screen printing, embroidery, banners, now face masks. So we're a very versatile company, which is right now kind of helping us stay alive.
Wow. Well, congratulations on 35 years. What a memorable anniversary, if nothing else.
I won't forget this one. That's for sure.
Right. You'll never forget this at all. It looks like Robert's hopped on and says, great job, Mick and Erica. Thank you for tuning in with us. So we have a nice block of time that we've blocked off for this specific interview. So I want to make sure that people have a chance to get to know you guys. And so we'll have some guided questions. Feel free if you're viewing and you just have a general question you want to ask them or more detailed, or even a comment to give us flattery or praise, let us know whatever that comment or question is by typing it into the comment section below this video. We'll get started with this first question. And we shared that you've already been around for 35 years, Mick. So to kind of go off of that, how did your business begin? And, how did you really get started? So a lot of times you hear this as to what inspired you or what was your why behind creating the business that you're in?
Juliet, that was 35 years ago. I'm not sure I can remember all that. So, well, back in the late 70s, I was coaching baseball in the Southeast Denver Little League, and the president of the Little League was one of the owners of a major sporting goods team sports business, very similar to what I have now. Name was Rod Beck. It was actually B&H Sports, which were the top team sports company in the 70s, 80s. Well, really mainly 70s and 80s. And I thought that, man, this is, something I just love to do. And I just pestered Mr. Beck until he finally got with his partner, which was Jack Hunt, who handled the team sports division. And, to get me to hire. I said, we're not hiring. We can't afford any more sales. I said, I'll just work for commission. Doesn't matter. I just want to do this. So I finally got him to hire me, and I sat down with Mr. Hunt. Hopefully, I'm not going to draw this out too much here. And he did not want to hire me, but he did it for his partner. I sat in front of him and he said, I have one account for you, which is really ironic here. It was School District 50. I called on Westminster, Ranham, Shaw Heights, Carpenter, all those schools, and that's all I had. He said, that's it. He said, and he threw the yellow pages at me and said, here's the rest of your account. And I said, did he really do this? I swear to God, I would never do that to one of my salesmen. But anyway, that's how I got started. In 5 or 6 years later, B&H Sports sold to an investor that wanted to turn B&H into franchises. I asked if I could purchase a franchise with another couple partners, and I was granted Jefferson County as a franchise, and I was already calling on Jefferson County schools. So basically, they let me bring about $1 million worth of business to this brand new company, which is a pretty darn good insurance policy. I brought my brother into the business, and that led for about another 4 or 5 years. And we decided that we would go different directions. Like, left my brother keep the B&H Sports franchise name that we had in Jeffco, and I started a new company called Denver Athletic, and we were the wholesale company, and he did his retail thing. Since I established that, we started with, I think, 5 employees at that time, and just grew the business, with great people. And we didn't we weren't doing our own screen printing and embroidery at that time, or really in any manufacturing. We contracted all that out, but because of the servicing issues that we had from all those people in that industry, we decided we had to do this ourselves from a service standpoint, and that's because that's what our company was all about, was service. So over the last 25, 30 years, we've grown substantially in the manufacturing end of it, which really gives us an up or a niche against the majority of our competitors, as most of them either contract all their own work, or they do it out of state. So the serviceability of their product is not nearly, what ours is. But I knew a long time ago that for my company to grow and survive, we needed to be versatile, and we needed to be vertical. The fact that we're not strictly team sports, that we do logoed apparel, we do corporate business, and just about anything that you can put your name on, my company, you can do it. We do add specialty promotional products, and I kind of call us a one-stop shop. I really hate that name, one-stop shop, but that's really what we are. But with the circumstances we're going through right now, man, we are retooling everything we can with this business, because with 80% of our business being schools and youth leagues, essentially 80% of our customer base has temporarily diminished, and so we had to go find some business elsewhere, and my salesmen are really being challenged right now to sell just about everything that they haven't sold before, just to survive. You and I, when we went through the recession back in 08 and 09, I totally felt that, hey, we're a sports business. This is a big sports town. Little Johnny is gonna play sports. They may not take their vacation, but Johnny's playing sports. So I felt we were somewhat resilient. Well, I found out very quickly that we were not, and luckily we got through it, and I learned a lot from that. But with what's going on now, I think it's going to be somewhat similar, where sports is going to come back. I mean, sports has to come back. We all need sports. I need these kids, these athletes, back on the court, back on the fields, because they need it. The parents need it, as well. But these kids need to be back together, and we just got to figure out how to do this. And that's their survival, as well as our business. And we're selling PPE, product. Luckily, we've had some big fire departments that have done a lot of business with us, that were needing a lot of this product, and just their general wear that help keep get our business opened again. But it's going to be a rough road for us, because we are predominant sports, and it's going to come back, but it's going to come back slow. And the people that or schools or leagues that were spending X amount of dollars with us will probably spend 30 to 40% less, because the majority of their money is depending on fundraising, and we all know fundraising in times like this is very difficult to do. So we're just looking at and thinking about anything we can possibly come up with to help our customers get back into this. We have a new program out called Colorado for Sports, which I can have Erica kind of explain a little bit, that we're trying to fundraise monies for schools off of a product that we've developed to push sports in Colorado.
Okay, excellent. So that was a great holistic picture. I loved your tenacity at the start, when you were determined to get hired on and kept at it until they gave in and actually gave you the opportunity. And then to see that you took that opportunity and that passion that you had and really developed it into your own business concept and worked with family in the process. I mean, that is a whole nother dynamic whenever you bring family into a mix of entrepreneurship and having to rely on another person. And I especially liked, you actually answered one of the next things that I was going to ask, which was what makes you all unique at Denver Athletic, and being able to manufacture and then supply those products out. That's a huge component. We referenced earlier the PPE supplier list, and why we created that specific list before our secondary one that we'll be pushing out is because that list shows companies that have that availability on hand. So it's an immediate, people need the things, they're ordering, but they're not waiting on it to come in or ship from another warehouse, which again delays the time and affects the pricing also in the long run. So thank you for sharing the uniqueness, but also sharing your initial story behind how determined you were, and someone who never takes no. I love that. Wayne, thank you for hopping on. He's sharing good morning to everyone that's on here as well. Hi, Bradley. Beck, thank you for tuning in. If you're just hopping on, today's discussion is business with a beat, so business with a heartbeat. We have a small business with us, and that's Denver Athletic, to share with us their story and for us to get to know more about them. So this next question I'll kind of give to you, Erica, and that's because Mike kind of teed it off, or Mick kind of, teed it off to you, and that was, what are you doing to support nonprofits? So is there something that you're doing to give back to the community during this time?
Yes, absolutely. So as Mick had mentioned, obviously, we have been hurt by this, COVID, just like everyone else has. So it's definitely proven everyone's there. But so we started this campaign called Colorado for Sports. You can hashtag CO, the number 4 sports, to find out all the information. But basically, it's your way to get some awesome apparel that we designed that's very Colorado specific. And when you do this, 50% of every item purchased is going to go to a sports organization of your choice. So whether it's your kid's school, where you went to high school or played Little League, whatever you want, you just put that in. When you do your order, you'll see the field. But as soon as that order comes in, 50% of everything we're giving back. So it's our way that, kind of a win-win for everyone. You guys get great apparel. It keeps us going, keeps our employees busy, and it also goes back to the schools and Little League. So, obviously being an athletic company, it's huge for us. But as Mick had mentioned as well, we anything that needs a logo, we can do. So don't think of us as only sports. This is just prime example. Anything that your company might need that has anything with your branding, we're here to help. So.
Well, that is terrific that you're giving back that 50%, especially during this time. I think our business community is definitely performing a little bit under where they would have liked to have been, or even how they operate generally from month to month. And so to see that you're even willing to give back to the community as you, your own, are trying to sustain what you have speaks volumes of your company. So the next question I wanted to share with you, and I think Mick kind of shared this as well, but we can expound on it some more because you offer so much diversity in your product line. What have you done to be kind of more innovative right now, and kind of describe that in the sense of, you all have the warehouse component, the promotional component, and the branding, but what additional things may you have kind of implemented during this time, especially in wake of COVID?
Well, besides, our normal business, the face mask and face shields that we haven't really done much with face shields. We were trying to manufacture those, but there was really just too much involved in them, from a small facility like ours anyway. But the face mask, we are sewing our own face masks, and volume, not a huge volume. We have developed, some basically a real small line of floor markings, which pretty much every business, every retail store, everybody's pretty much has to have these as far as the distancing, the arrows. I don't see that everybody's utilizing these, but we're able to do it on a custom standpoint. So not just a stay 6 feet apart. The business can put their logo on that, so when the customer's looking down, they're always seeing that logo. It's just there's so many people out there doing this. Every sign company in the city is beating the doors down for that, I'm sure, because that's a little more of their business. But that's been the biggest challenge for us. Is we're trying to jump into a market that we've never really been into before. To let people know that, hey, we've done all this stuff for you guys before, but we now do the same product or this other product that you need, and we already have your logo, so we're going to make it easy for you. But it's been a challenge, mainly for my all my salesmen, which I kind of my jock guys, and we're heavy in the cheer and dance. And those gals, it's a totally different selling market for them as well. But as far as really brand new product, we're just trying to retool on, and getting into different areas, in any area that anybody will talk to us on. So.
Yeah, totally. And thank you so much for being a sponsor on our COVID kits. I know you all provided us with those cloth masks, so that was a nice item, but it was also nice to see some of the products that you had available and the wide spectrum that you do have available, not necessarily only customization, but the more basic line as well. So hi, John and Lynn, thank you for hopping on with us as well. I have another question for you both, and each of you can kind of give your perspective on this if you like. Before I ask it, I am curious, how many employees do you have that kind of work for you? We talk a little bit about sales and marketing and just kind of warehouse and things. So it sounds like a large operation to anyone that's listening in, but if we can give them some realistic numbers.
Well, total employees in the company is right now right around 46, 47. Doing everything I can to keep it under 50. There's definite advantages to that. Over 50, there's more problems anyway. About a third of that, maybe 35% of that are production employees in our screen printing, our embroidery, the banner areas. We also do personalization on game uniforms for most of the pro teams, which is not going on right now. Another part of our business is con. But we have 11 salesmen. 3 of them are inside sales. Like I said, we have two beautiful ladies that handle cheer and dance for us that do an incredible job. And the other guys are what I consider road salesmen, where they're calling directly on schools, on leagues, also handling some corporation type business, which is basically corporate identity, or what I call the trinket business, where they anything you can print your name on for a giveaway, we try to get into that as well. So.
Of course. Yeah. So, and right there with you, we generally say smaller business, or a business that's, not medium-sized, 50 employees or less. So you're doing great by sticking under that. In terms of COVID, and this is again out of curiosity, it just kind of popped up these couple questions, but has your workforce, have you had to reduce anyone? How have you kind of adjusted based on your demands? Has there been a change maybe in the hours that you've been doing to your employees? Is it a combination that you've had some people transition into different roles?
Well, right now, we have not made any major changes. I have had 0 layoffs or furloughs. We were shut down March 16th for almost a month. I kept 100% of my employees on payroll, which I hope I don't regret. But anyway, I kept all of them on payroll. Because of the fire department business we were doing, they deemed us essential. So we were able to get our business open so we could produce a lot of the product that we needed for them, plus the other product that we had in the house. But I lost my train of thought. Where was I at?
Well, besides that, we have a lot of people that are able to work from home, obviously, with 11 plus salesmen. They're on the road a lot anyway. So we've done everything we can to keep the business going as best as we can while keeping everyone safe and healthy. So when anyone comes in, we do checks, with temperature, and we practice the social distancing. We even have the signage throughout our building to make sure that everyone is staying safe and healthy. And, that's the biggest thing right now.
Yeah. We're working remote is not going to stop, no matter what what we do going forward. A lot of my employees, where we can, will be working remote, at least part-time, maybe 3 days at home, 2 days in. If they can do 100% of their job at home, I don't need them in that office, 5 days a week with the virus still out there. The thing that's really helped us, keep this thing alive right now is we applied for the stimulus package early. My bank, I got lucky; they got it in early, and we're in our second month of the stimulus. So, at least 100% of my payroll, my insurance, my really basically my payroll expense and rent and all that is covered 100%. So, it's a non-issue at this point. But that ends the middle of June, and will be effective basically on our July 1st payroll. So that's when we have to really kind of gear this thing up. I don't think there's any doubt that we most likely will have some furloughs or some layoffs. I hope not, but it all depends on just what we can bring in. I mean, our sales are down 50 to 60%, and they're not going to come back that quick. So it's a matter of the cuts that we're gonna have to make some cuts in salaries. There's no doubt about that. But I'm going to do everything I can to keep my employees intact and keep them paying their bills and keep them going. I mean, it's the most important part of my business, and my employees are the reason that we're as good as we are and have the reputation we do. It's not me. It's the people that work for me around us.
Well, and on that note, I know he is very humble, but the majority, I'd say 70+% of our employees have been with us a good 7+ years, some of them anywhere from 20 to 30 years. So just for me, that's one of the most proud things about the company is when you see that little of turnover and that loyalty. I think that speaks volumes.
I think that's because I'm overpaying them, is what it is.
And I'm so glad that you touched on, you shared the 50 to 60% revenue reduction that's there, that you guys are facing. And then you talked a little on the tenure of your employees, the 70% or so that have still been with you for years on end. And really the purpose behind why we're doing this is for several reasons, highlighting the business, highlighting some challenges, but really showing the heart behind a business. And as a small business owner, how much you guys are trying to adapt and show appreciation of value for your employees. And so often people are not seeing how much our employers are really trying to accommodate through remote work, or by allowing them to be more flexible, or by looking back on their operational revenue and what they can do to change things up. And so I was so glad that you took the time to share that and emphasize, your employees are first. And you're really trying to institute things that will encourage them to stay around and adapt as needed, and hence why you're putting in that social distancing. I know whenever I pulled up, you guys had me pop my trunk and you dropped off the items in there, so there was no interaction, and it was more of that contactless delivery. So one last question before I wrap up, and this is, what is your dream for the business?
Well, my dream is a little different now than it was 5 months ago. It's something because of the uncertainty, and just there's so many unknowns out there that for the very first time, as long as I remember, I'm not in control of things that I can do or not. The things around me. And as far as the business, I still want to grow the business. I still want to keep the business intact. 4 or 5 months ago, I was very seriously considering retirement. Well, that's a little longer, later in the future right now. But as far as growing the business, we've been on a very controlled growth for many years. And our biggest thing right now is, to be honest with you, Juliet, is survival. Just to keep this thing going and try to convince our customers when it does come back that buy Colorado, buy local. Our biggest competition that we have in our schools and that are out of state owned and out of state companies. And I'm just pushing, hey guys, take care of us first if you can. I mean, it's Colorado, and we need to hang together here. But there's a lot of customers that really, at this point, maybe that changed now, I don't know, but it really doesn't matter that we buy from, spend all of our money with a company out of Dallas or out of Indianapolis or whatever. I'm not going to name the companies, but it makes it tough on us for sure.
Yeah, and you already know I wholeheartedly support local and businesses across. If we can invest in our backyard, it has a profound effect on not just our communities, but across the state. So thank you for, again, touching on that. And I hope that, when we have another conversation, it's going to be more of another positive note. And, if you and I are both around 35 years from now and we can look back on this, Denver Athletic has weathered the initial recession that was back in 07, 08, and has come out, and hopefully we're going to do the same this time around, coming out stronger and more united, and exactly like Robert was saying, keeping it local and keeping our community safe and taken care of. So thank you to both
Absolutely.
Erica and Mick for taking the time to give us a backside view of Denver Athletic, and really to understand you all more, some of your values and how you got started. I loved that initial start about your story. It was both humorous, but also, really inspiring for the people that always feel like they're pushed back or shut down for things. So I appreciated you sharing that, and Erica, for you to share a lot of what you guys are doing to support nonprofits, and just overall how you're taking care of your employees during this time, I think was incredibly beneficial for people that are tuned in to see what are some best practices that our businesses are doing, and how are they overcoming certain challenges. So thank you both for being with us, and thank you to everyone that's tuned in. If you're watching this on replay, go ahead and give us that hashtag replay. If a question or comment comes to mind, please drop that in there as well. Now, Denver Athletic can be reached, if I can have Erica provide the phone number and website to us.
Yes, so you guys can reach us at, obviously, www.denverathletic.com. We can also be reached at 303-761-7773. Obviously, if you Google us, you can track any of our information there. And also, again, the hashtag CO4, the number 4, sports. Go support us and support Colorado sports however you can.
Thank you so much. You all have a wonderful afternoon. Before I hop off, you guys are going to be sick of me. I will be back here at 3 o'clock this afternoon. We actually have with us Tri-County Health. So if you are a business that has questions and are serviced by any of the counties that they represent, again, they represent Adams, Arapahoe, and several others. So make sure that you're tuned in from 3 to 4. They're actually going to be taking up live questions from our businesses. This is their business task force. So it's a great opportunity to ask about health orders, ask about clarification, whatever you have to your heart's content, back here at 3 o'clock this afternoon. Thank you to everyone that's tuned in, and thank you so much to our guests.
Thank you.
Thank you, Juliet.
Bye.